Welcome everyone back to the channel. This is going to be a little different video than what I typically do, as it's not so much tech related as it's more personal related, a little bit similar to how you would do a vlog. But today what I'm going to do is tell you why I sold my 2020 Subaru WRX after owning it for a mere only 2 months. This is a little bit of a decision I didn't want to make, but with everything going on it kind of made sense, and it was something I felt I needed to do, even though I did love the car and I still really enjoyed driving it. I'll go over the reasons kind of why I think this may not be the best car for everyone. So we bought this car when my wife was 7 months pregnant, and it was originally intended to be just our regular around town vehicle. We own a Subaru Ascent, so we already had a 3-row bigger vehicle. So we thought I wanted something fun to drive. I previously had a Subaru Forester, which, while it was reliable, got good gas mileage, good daily family vehicle, it was not fun to drive. So I originally wanted an STI, but after test driving both, I didn't think the STI was worth the price tag, so I went and got a WRX. And I actually purchased this about 2 months before the COVID-19 virus took over and all that stuff happened. So this was a little bit before that, and before the baby was actually born, as my wife was had a couple more months until the baby was due. So had the car, love the car. It's a great car for many reasons. I had the limited edition, which retails for about $33,800. I think it's $33,800. So it was a little bit expensive, at least in my eyes. I'll go over that a little bit down the road. But the big reason why I got rid of this car is that it just does not fit an active family lifestyle. It actually fit the car seat well. When the baby was born, I didn't have any problems there. It feels like a relatively safe car for being a smaller 4-door turbocharged sedan, but it just did not work out. And the main reason is because I could not fit the stroller into the back trunk. It would not fit no matter what. We have a little bit bigger jogging stroller, which I'm going to get a review of that down the road, but it would not fit. I couldn't put it in the passenger seat. I tried taking the wheels off and put it in. It just would not fit, which was a problem because we live fairly active lifestyles, and when my wife has the Ascent, she's at work or out and about, I need to be able to haul the stroller around from time to time. And I actually looked at getting a roof rack and putting it on top, but then you got to deal with if it's raining and everything along that line. So that was the first thing that tipped me over. And then when the COVID-19 hit, while we both have fairly secure jobs, we both work in the healthcare field, it did kind of worry me financially. So I was worried about, for one, it's a smaller 4-door car. It gets somewhat decent gas mileage for being a 2.0 4-cylinder. I was getting around 24 miles per gallon, but it does take premium fuel. So you do have to keep that in mind, which in Ohio, it's about 60-70 cents more than your regular 87 octane. I always put 93 in it. Most of the Kroger's and Shells have 93, and I always put that in it, which was about 60-70 cents more per gallon. So you had to take that into account along with insurance. I was paying $78 a month for the Subaru WRX, and for what I have now, which is what I traded in for, was a Subaru Outback, I paid $41. So you're looking at about $37 difference there in insurance cost. So probably $150 more for the WRX, even though the Outback did technically cost a little more. I actually was able to lock down 0% financing, and on the WRX I was paying around 5% financing, which is pretty crazy. So I ended up paying, I think, $4,000 or $5,000 more over the life of the loan for the car. So when I went to go get rid of it, the Outback, they were able to, since everything going on, car sales were in the tank, they were able to get me in 0% financing. So I'm actually going to pay 0 financing for the Outback, and I do plan on getting a review of that, but this is more about why I got rid of the WRX. So that was another tipping point. I told him I was interested in trading it in, getting a different Subaru, and I said I'll do it if you can lock me up with the financing. I'm pretty sure they pulled some strings to do that because the Ascent is financed in my name, so I had to take that into account. So those are the two big reasons. One, COVID-19, financial. Even though we have secure jobs, we still are limited in how many hours they let us work, so I was worried about that. Number two, it just wouldn't fit everything in my lifestyle. Could we make it work? Yes, but it wasn't going to be something long-term that was practical. So I thought if I could get a good deal on another Outback Forester, I'll get into why I got the Outback on a different video. I thought it'd be a good time to do this, so that was another reason. The third reason is that while the WRX was really fun to drive, and it was somewhat of a practical vehicle, it was not the best built vehicle. You could tell it is on their older non-global architecture platform, so you can tell while it felt safe, and I felt safe driving it, and if I got in a wreck, I feel like it would be hold up to the standard crash ratings, and I believe it gets the gold standard on the highway safety crash rating, so I'm pretty sure it's a fairly safe vehicle, but you could tell it was not the tightest, most well-engineered vehicle, mainly because it's really old. It's from 2015, so it is not on their new global architecture, which really stiffens and makes the whole platform a little bit more rigid. So it did have some rattles already on the inside. The inside material was just rather cheap. The infotainment system had all kinds of bugs starting out. It was slow, especially compared to our Ascent, which is a newer Subaru on the newer global architecture, completely redesigned, or it's a new vehicle, so I would call it a redesign. So that was another thing, is that it just wasn't a standard, up to standards, I think, for a almost $34,000 sticker car. So that was another reason. And the last reason is that I would probably kill myself in it. Well, there's two more reasons. One, I'd probably kill myself in it is because it handles so well. You can drive it so fast, especially on back roads, and it just does really well with handling. You could throw it into corners and it just sticks and plants and goes straight into things, which is good, but it's also can lead you to make really dumb mistakes, especially if you're not an excellent driver. I'm not saying I'm good or bad. I'm your standard car enthusiast. I wouldn't say that I'm a race car driver or anything, but you can probably get into a lot of trouble with this, and before you know it, you look down and you're going 60 miles per hour in a 35, because it's extremely fast, torquey, four-cylinder boxer small sedan. So that was another reason. Another financial reason I forgot to mention is that will have to get some type of different tires for this. So you'll probably have to spend $1,000 to $1,200 on winter tires and rims, because it has summer performance tires on it. So if it snows, temperature's below 40, and it's raining, you basically can't drive it. You probably could, but I'm pretty sure the tires aren't rated at degrees below 40 or 45. So that was another thing to look and keep it to mind. So that was really it. Those are my big reasons. I would still love to own an STI, but I think if you're looking to buy a WRX or an STI in 2020, and you have a kid or a family, or you want to get a family down the line, I would highly recommend waiting for the new refresh of the WRX. I think if it was a tad bit bigger or a hatchback, I probably would have kept it, or if it was more up to date, better engineering. I mean, the inside, well, I did have leather interior, all that jazz. It just felt really old and felt like an old Corolla in the inside. Some of the gauges and the infotainment stuff, especially the center gauge and the top gauge, was nice. But if you're looking to get a 2020 WRX, I would highly recommend waiting until they refresh it. If you're looking to get an STI, I still think now's a good time to buy a 2020 STI, because it's a really good old school car. I test drove both, and the STI is just on a different playing field than the WRX. It's got a bigger motor, bigger brakes, stiffer suspension, still got hydraulic steering, so it's a more mechanical car. So I'd still recommend that, but I would not recommend the 2020 WRX until they refresh it and see what they do down the line there. There's all kinds of rumors that they'll put a 1.8 turbo in it, that like the Lavorg has, that's I believe a Japan only car. If they made it in a hatchback, I would switch back in a heartbeat. They may stick with the standard 2.0 engine and just put it on the global architecture. I've heard rumors that they will do the Ascent engine, the 2.4 liter, which we have in our Outback and our Ascent, and they will throw it in there and detune it, and then I'll tune it up for the STI and just use that motor for both of them. But that's not out here yet, but they have been rumors that it's going to be refreshed soon, so I would wait for that. So that's just my opinions, thoughts, why I got rid of it. Again, I don't necessarily think it's a bad family car, but if you're a fairly active family, and especially if it's a second vehicle and you don't have a larger, the Ascent's a larger 3-row. If you are using this for your main transportation, you will have to take into account if you're doing a stroller, or you like to canoe or kayak, or you like to do outdoor stuff, or you like to travel. It is limited a little bit in space. Great backseat area, but the trunk is your standard small sedan trunk. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, I'm going to go over the buying process of how I actually purchased this and kind of the pricing point too for the WRX and the Outback, and kind of explain why I did the switch and went to the Outback over something else. But if you have any questions about the 2020 WRX, feel free to leave the comments below. Again, I had it for a couple of months. I test drove both that and the STI 4 or 5 times actually over 6 months before I made a decision. Ultimately, it didn't work out. May get an STI down the road. I really wish they'd make it a hatchback, because then I would switch over in a heartbeat again. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.